Come on. It's been weeks since you've done a review. Get back out there.
What's the point? Nobody watches them anyway.
There's a whole dozen people that need your opinions. Besides, that's never bothered you before. You do it for the sake of doing it and making sure people are informed. What little amount of people you do inform.
I don't know. I've just been in a slump lately, man. Just leave me alone.
Go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy. That'll cheer you up and get you reviewing again.
I'm not feeling it.
Come on. Look at baby Groot. He's adorable.
You know that's not gonna work. It's just a stupid toy. It's not gonna get me.
You can't say no to that cute little bastard.
It's just a gimmick. It's not gonna get me. Fine.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Everybody.
I saw it, Batman. And you know what? I'm back. That's right. All I had to learn was the value of teamwork, Batman. And that's all we need. That's all we need to keep going. We can keep going forever. We could do this forever, Batman. You and me.
Okay.
100 years, 1,000
Good.
reviews, Batman.
I'm glad.
We keep going.
It's good.
Forever and ever and
start
ever
the
and
review.
ever. Batman forever.
Jesus,
no,
just
Batman
do
and
the
Khalil
review.
forever.
Just start the
www.batmankhalilforever.com because we're
Oh my God.
we're Slacker reviews.
Just
We're gonna
start
do
the
it
review.
forever until people get tired of us, and then we're gonna keep going like the Forrest Gump of reviews. You and me forever and ever.
I don't
for
think
100 years.
either of us are
1,000
gonna live
reviews,
past 50.
www.batmankhalil
Just
forever.
do the
Reviews,
review. Please, for the love of God.
We're gonna do
Start
it
the
all.
review.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 gave me faith again. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was directed by James Gunn and it stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and Kurt Russell. There was literally no reason for that. I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't have high expectations for this. It's very hard to recreate the kind of lightning in a bottle that Guardians of the Galaxy was. Even though the first one had quite a few flaws, it was just so original and friggin' hilarious that what flaws it did have were just forgiven. So without the initial shell shock of originality that the first one had, did they still pull off a great movie? Yeah. Oh yeah. Guardians 2 takes place only a few months after the first one. The crew is using their fame to take contracts for money. Think Serenity, Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Boop Beep. After a series of fun, swashbuckling space events, some questions arise about family when Kurt Russell shows up saying,
I'm your dad, Peter.
some father-son bonding goes down as we take a deeper look into each of our characters. Cause it's the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy crying, the man, the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll be together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Cause it's the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy crying, the man, the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll be together then. Because the trailers have done such a terrific job of not really giving away much more than that, I won't either. This is a spoiler-free zone is what this is. And I'm not gonna bullshit you around on this one. If you enjoyed the first film, you'll enjoy this one. All of your favorite characters and all of that type of humor is still here. One of my favorite things is when an ensemble film is done right, and this flick gives all of its characters time to shine. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord is as fun and charismatic as ever. The only big difference between him and the first one and this one is he's more of a leader now. He's kind of a papa to the group, the only way Star-Lord could be. Speaking of papas, he finally gets to meet his own in this one, which was probably the biggest question asked by the first one. That was really the only, cliffhangery thing from the first one was, who's Star-Lord's dad? Why is it such a mystery? Why don't we know yet? Well, you gotta figure it out in this one, so shut up. Don't worry, it's not really a spoilery thing to talk about his dad, because you get to meet him very early on in this film, which I really respected. I thought he was gonna be this character that you don't meet until like way into the movie because it's this big thing. And Kurt Russell as Papa Quill, aka Ego, is just so perfect. Granted, I'm a little biased because I'm a little partial to Kurt Russell, so I don't know how he was for non-Russell fans, but I thought he was perfect, and he was perfect to play the role of the loins that Star-Lord came from. And I never thought I'd say this, but Dave Bautista, the auteur of the Bautista Bomb, was easily the funniest part of this film. He had some of the funniest lines in this movie, and everything he said and did either made you chuckle or put a smile on your face. And he just has the most contagious goddamn laugh. They also found a way to incorporate his tragic past and give him a little bit of depth instead of making him just the comic relief character. Really, everyone gets a moment like this. James Gunn is like the Oprah Winfrey of character depth. Everyone look under your chest. You get character depth. 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 And you get character depth. Even you get character depth. Rocket Raccoon, my personal favorite character from the first film, receives a really cool story arc. He's an extremely relatable character when you look deep into his core. And he's a talking CGI raccoon voiced by Bradley Cooper. Like, what the hell? It takes a lot of work to make that work. Surprisingly, his arc is involved a lot with Michael Rooker's Yondu, who really threw me a curveball. In the first film, Rooker played the minor character of Yondu, who was one of the original Guardians in the comics. In the first one, it was really cool to have him there, not only because he played one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was just a little tip of the hat to you, but he's also starred in every single one of James Gunn's movies. So he was just like an Easter egg on multiple surfaces. He was like an Easter cube. In this one, he's fleshed out a lot more, and we're treated to the real range that Michael Rooker has as an actor. And he had one of the coolest storylines in the entire movie. He had just like a good rounded story arc, and it was awesome. And he's Mary Poppins, y'all. The one character I was really worried about was Baby Groot. Considering he was never really a baby per se in the comics, this was a liberty taken by the film. Judging by the trailers, I was worried that they had turned Groot into basically an Ewok. And no, I do not enjoy Ewoks. I believe the world is boiled down to two types of people. Those who enjoy Ewoks and those who do not. And as a plot element, no, I do not enjoy Ewoks. To be honest, they were made specifically to make high-selling toys. And that's what they felt like in the movie. And in some ways, Baby Groot is that. But I mean, come on. Just look at him. I just smiled whenever he was on screen. Like, he's just the cutest friggin' thing. And they used him as an actual character, too. Like, he had purpose in this movie. Like they utilized him. Like, character-wise. They used him. So as far as Baby Groot goes, they got me. And Mantis was really fun, too. I don't remember the lady's name that played Mantis, and I'm not gonna stop this video to look it up right now. But she was pretty good. I mean, I don't really have much to say about her other than she was a nice little addition. And it didn't, like, shove her down our throats. Very gradually eased her into the group, and I was okay with that. Really, the only character arc I wasn't into was the whole Nebula-Gamora dynamic. I really like Gamora. I do. I enjoyed her in the first one. I just wanted to see her deal with something a little bit more than sister issues. And out of all the reviews that I've seen, there's been the most hate for Nebula. And I will say that she does feel like she's in a different movie. Like, her tone doesn't match the tone of everything else in this film. But that's probably the point. I understand James Gunn has an affinity for her. Like, he's gone on record saying she's one of his favorite characters, and he uses her well. She is a tragic character, and she's played by a cute lady. I don't know if you've seen Nebula outside of her Nebula, but she's a cute lady. So I respect her character. I respect what James Gunn is doing with her character. I'm just gonna go on record and say, not my cup of tea. I just not into that kind of storyline. It's not what I wanted in my Guardians movie. It's not saying it's a bad part of a Guardians movie. I'm just saying it's not exactly what I wanted. Overall, though, I love what James Gunn is doing with this series, and I'm glad he has almost complete creative control over these characters. He's really the only Marvel director to have his own style in these movies, other than Thor's weird Dutch angles. But it's great to have a competent director to add a certain flair to these superhero movies, because there's some shots in this that are just completely gorgeous, and a lot of these Marvel movies are just cookie cutter, you know? They're just... All right, this is what we need to see. Just make sure the shot doesn't do anything funky, and you're good to go. But you know, I want some fun in my Marvel movies. I want some fun camera stuff. Do something cool. And if you've seen my reviews, if you've seen any of them, you probably know I'm not a fan of CGI, like whatsoever. I think it's so overutilized. But in this, it really helped, and it did put it in its own little universe. The CGI in this film gave it this comic book feel, like you felt like you were in this other place, and it was done very, very well. So I will praise the CGI in this movie, because this movie did it right. Plus there were many clever and fun shots, you know? It wasn't just sit still. The camera was moving, the camera was doing something, the camera was a part of it, and that's friggin' great to have in one of these superhero movies. It also helps that it's a widely unknown property, because they can take some liberties with these characters that I think people are mostly okay with. I remember when the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie was announced, and I was like, there's no way. This isn't gonna work. Nobody knows these characters, and these are weird characters anyway. And here we are, shit ton of money later. You can feel that James Gunn genuinely cares for these characters, and he fleshes all of them out as much as he can. Who knew a movie featuring a talking raccoon, a sentient tree, 2 green killer aliens, and an a-hole would feature some of the most relatable characters in a blockbuster, like, ever. It's not just a story about space guys blowing up other space guys for the sake of gawking at fun effects. These characters have been alone all of their lives, experienced loss, and have generally been outcasts. It also felt fucking amazing to have a Marvel movie that wasn't just a big 2-hour advertisement for other Marvel movies. Out of all of the movies on these shelves, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is the only one of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe that is up there. Because really, it's the only one that I feel like watching over and over. As a nerd, it's almost kind of stressful to watch these MCU movies because I'm like sifting through each and every scene looking for little Easter eggs and little hints at other movies, and it's like, it's something that I wish I could turn off, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I wasn't this way. It's more of a curse than a blessing, really, being this nerd, but, you know, I get to do these videos because of it, so that's cool. It's also stressful trying to find shit and connections from other Marvel movies. Like going, okay, I gotta know this. Okay, I gotta know this. Okay, I remember that character because he was in this. I remember this character because they talked about this character in this. I remember this character because this character is fighting this character, and this character is the dad of this character, but really he's the dad of this character, and really this character killed this guy. Is the dad of and this guy's dead because of this. The dad of this. And this guy only exists because this movie happened, and this guy's dead because of this movie. Remember that guy only exists because this character talked about this character, and this character, this character because this character. All of them are gonna get together in one big. This character is the dad of this character, but really until they all come together. All of them are going to get together. It's going to be the biggest fucking thing ever, and I don't think I have the mental capacity for that. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is just a big, fun blockbuster, and is more original than most blockbusters coming out these days. Also, just on a side note, it's the best Stan Lee cameo I've ever seen. It's my personal favorite Stan Lee cameo, like, over the Deadpool cameo. This one... it's a big one. And because this is a review, I can't just keep giving praise to this movie. I can't just keep talking about how good it is. I gotta talk about some of the cons. My only beef with this is the plot. And not so much what the plot is, but how long it takes for the plot to kick in. Because you're watching it, and for like almost an hour, you're just sitting through it, and it's fun. It's really fun. You're enjoying it. But it gets to a point where like, okay... where are we going? How's it gonna end? Where are you taking us, James Gunn? It feels like a really fun road trip with a friend, but you don't know the destination. You know, a friend is like, hey, get in the car, and you're driving around for a little bit, and like after an hour, you're like, okay, where the fuck are we going? And with the writing of the first one, I really enjoyed the MacGuffin plot. That's just something I like. I like two sides going after this one object. And I don't know. It's just simple and it's fun. Although I could do with better dialogue in the first one. In the first one, there were some lines of dialogue that just didn't work. Whereas it's vice versa now. Like, the main plot is a little muddled because you just don't know where it's gonna go. Although, the dialogue in this one is much better. Yet, after thinking about this for a while, and having seen it twice now, and letting it sit for, 3 weeks? Almost a month now? I realized that this is all happening because this is a character piece, more than anything. On top of all of the Marvel movies, this is the only one that, like, looks at these characters, that like goes deep into these characters and looks at who they are as people and aliens and raccoons and trees. It confused me for a little bit why they would have like a major franchise movie be just a character piece. And then I thought back to Empire Strikes Back. You know, that's my favorite Star Wars movie, and that's because it's mostly a character piece. It's connecting the first one to the third one, and it does it well. And that's kind of what this movie is. You know, I have to remember that there is a third one coming and that this is a very good connection. Even though, like I said, it's not a big advertisement for the next one. Like, I don't know what the third one's going to be about, like, whatsoever from this one. And I loved that. I love that this is like, let's just take a moment to look at who these people are before we finish off their story. I will also say I didn't care much for the gold people. The gold people in this movie, like, they're like a side villain, I guess. And they keep just like showing up. And the first time I watched it, I thought they were going to be like just like a random thing that happened to them at the very beginning of the movie. Kind of like how Star Trek Beyond opened up. You know, there were these like alien creatures and it's just a random mission. But they stayed for the rest of the movie. And the first time I saw it, I thought they overstayed their welcome because I wanted them to be just another random mission for these characters. But then the second time I saw it, I knew what they were, and I enjoyed it a little bit more. I kind of found these characters much more comical and a lot more fun than I did the first time, only because I know it's not what I originally wanted it to be. And with that knowledge, it's like, you know what? I can have a good time with these guys. I will say the same about the plot. You know, once you know that the plot doesn't kick in for a while, it lets you just sit down and enjoy this movie and learn more about these people. So I am going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 an 8.5 out of 10. It's a lot of fun. It's just a big, fun blockbuster movie. And let me just take a moment to say, if you've made it this far in the video, you're just the coolest. Thank you for sticking with us. If you're new to the channel, it'd help us out if you subscribed. Show me that you enjoy this. You know, feel free to leave a comment down below. It like shows me that people are actually watching this, not just people are clicking on it, you know? Give us a like, give us something. Just let us know that you're there. Show us that you exist. Anyway, as always,
Watch movies, my friends.
so if you could follow us, zoop, 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 zoop.